All right, friends, wanted to see what the XM5 looks like for an initial test. This is out of the box, just changing a couple very basic parameters. We are running sound through the Beach Tech Micro Pro, the DXA, that little amp, and an NTG2. And for a monitor, we've got the Feel World 10-inch director's monitor, just sitting on top, nothing special. Just took this thing out of the box, wanted to see how it performs, just how it looks. This is with custom chrome profile. We are at 24 frames per second. Shutter speed's obviously 48. Let's turn off a couple additional lights. All right, so now we have a dark studio. People keep complaining about the eye focus, but this thing's locked on my eye and it's not going anywhere. So I'm quite impressed. And I didn't even touch the sensitivity or the speed in the tracking. It's nailing focus pretty well to me from what I can tell from the monitor. Just wanted to check out this camera, press go and see what happens. I mean, I didn't even set up the lighting, or I didn't even put in our ambient lighting or anything like that. Just turned the camera on. Adjust that angle a little bit. Now the mic's a little far away right now, but let's see. Check, sound check, 1, 2. 1, 2, mic is right out of frame. We are an H.265. I don't even know other than that what else, and I'm only saying that because I'm reading it. But we're in 4K. I mean, obviously I'm going to go in and play with the parameters and check it out, but I was just so stoked to get this thing out of the box. I actually just sold my XH1 to make room for an XH2 or an XH2S. I'm still on the fence about it. I don't know if I really need those extra megapixels. I do a lot of portrait photography, so maybe it would be nice, but I never have anything blown up really. I just went from the EOS R and the A7 III. And I got rid of those, and I stuck with my XH1 and even my XT1 I still pull out every once in a while. And I just love Fujifilm cameras. There's so much that I love about them. I began my journey with Lumix and Fujifilm to begin with in my videography journey. In photography, my first camera was a Nikon D70. And that served me for many years, and I love that thing. I don't know, let's throw some colors in the background here. Little ambient lighting. I think that this thing is gonna surprise a lot of people once they get in their hands. I think the reviews coming out with all the negatives from people who haven't even actually used it, or maybe played with a pre-production model, I'm like shocked. This thing is locked on my eye. And I don't even know what it's set to, if it's set to face or eye priority or what, or left or right or what. But this thing is locked in. Well, this is a new channel. This is called Growing Pro. And the idea of this channel, this platform, is a community-based platform, just like our main channel, which is right here. That's called Healing Together. I've been a bodybuilding and addiction recovery coach for 25 years. So that channel is our primary platform. That's a community for everyone to come to for support, for love, for compassion, to share, to learn, to grow, all of that stuff. Because we're all suffering in one way or another. Physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, whatever it is. And that's a place for everyone to come to. I'm especially deep into the work with Kratom, as you can see behind me on that side. Yeah, that side. And I go by Coach Hard Gains. That's my other channel, my other platform, as a bodybuilding coach, and again, as an addiction recovery coach. But now, while I've been coaching for 25 years, I've also been an active model, musician, and actor. But I was in the music industry for close to 30 years, starting off as a performing artist, and I got to achieve many of my dreams and open up for some bigger bands, some of my favorite bands I really grew up loving, like Incubus and POD and System of a Down. So I got to open up for them, and we had some national radio play. But then I got deathly ill with organ failure, and all my organs stopped working symbiotically. They gave me 5 weeks left to live, and that was a very long, long road of recovery. They gave me this diagnosis and said that if we can't figure out what's wrong with you, you're going to die within 5 weeks. And I was like, why 5 weeks? This was back in 2003. Well, here we are, 2025. I'm still alive and kicking hard. Now, I had to rewrite my life at that time because I couldn't perform. I couldn't hold a guitar. I couldn't stand on stage. I couldn't go anywhere. I was not just home ridden, I was bedridden. For months, I was bedridden. And that can cause a person to go stir crazy and beyond. And so that's when I picked up my first camera. Being a model, being in front of the camera for so many years beforehand, being on the other side of the camera was actually quite exciting for me. My first camera, my D7, oh, let me go get it. So actually, this right here was my first good camera. A Nikon D70 with a Nikkor, what is this, 24 to 120. And I took this everywhere I went. I did a lot of street photography. Then I started getting into shooting some of my other friends who were models, their headshots and portfolio updates. This camera got me into photography. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with being on the creative side of the camera. Not that both sides aren't creative, but I loved being maybe the one in control of how the image came out. I loved all of it, and I became very passionate about it. And I've been shooting ever since. And I've shot on every system. Now, videography I got into quite a few years later, pretty much out of documenting my spinal fusion surgery that I had and starting our YouTube channels. And I began videography with a Lumix GH4. That was my first good or real, videographer's camera. Then I went to a G7 as my B cam to have on a gimbal. And you can see if you go visit that other channel, Healing Together, you can see a video like this right here where I shot that with a G7 on a gimbal. And I couldn't have been happier at the time. The GH4 for talking head work, the G7 for on-the-go work, they did everything I needed them to do and more. Then I upgraded to a G85, then I got the G9, then I got a GX850 for portable handhold stuff, which I still love and gave to my son, and he uses it and loves it. A tiny little GX850 for when it came out, 4K, and it's still a beautiful little camera. Now, Micro Four Thirds was fine for what I did. I shot this music video here for my son with nothing but a G7, 2 manual focus old lenses. Thought I might have one of them behind me. Pretty much junk lenses, but manual focus only, and with very, very fuzzy images. But I wanted that. You'll see if you watch the video, we wanted that grit, so that's why I used those lenses. And nothing but a tiny little light. And in some cases, as you'll see, a flashlight. And it got me started. And using nothing but what you have and the basics, as everybody on these YouTube channels, these pro YouTubers say, use what you have, make the best of what you have. Yes, that's very true. Very, very true. Don't let anything stop you from getting started. But having nice gear is awesome. Now, most recently, the majority of our cameras have been Canon, and all of our talking head work has been shot with a C200 and a C100 Mark II. Both phenomenal cameras. I love them both to death. But we've also been getting more into client work. And so we do a lot of run and gun, just on the go shooting for clients, a lot of stores, especially within, again, the kratom industry. And after having a spinal fusion, lugging around my case and setting up the C200, that was just so cumbersome and exhausting. And I have a lot of nerve damage down my legs. I have nerve damage up my spine, down my right arm. It was just too much. I also had a Red. I had a Red, shoot, I forget what it was. It was one of the first Reds, but I wasn't into it. It wasn't my thing. Too much for me. I also have a TBI, I got hit by the back end of a dump truck, so I have a brain injury. So format and layout and menu systems and OS operating systems, all that stuff, that is very important to me because there's a lot that just doesn't kind of comprehend or click in my brain sometimes. So Canon has been so simple all along. Our run and gun on the go became the EOS R, the first iteration. That was a great camera. I actually just sold it 2 weeks ago. After all these years, 2025, I've been actively using the EOS R for all these years. Happy, pleased, totally content, and it got us professional paid work. And it came out great. Fast forward a little bit, my spinal fusion has been getting worse, acting up. I decided to lighten the load. We're gonna play with a few different things. We are picking up an XH2 or an XH2S, as I said, to replace my XH1 that I just sold a month ago. And if you wanna watch a little quick video here, I kind of Frankensteined a rig, but it came out great. It was just heavy, kind of bulky. Not for a normal person without spinal issues, but it was a great rig. Had everything that we needed. Just go watch that video because you can't buy cages for an XH1 anymore. So I had to figure it out. Now, that was a phenomenal camera. I love that thing, and I did shoot some portrait photography. I'll throw a couple up here. I'll throw a couple pictures up here. Shot some portrait photography with the XH1, but still continued to use my EOS R and even my A7 III. Love the A7 III. Great camera, but it just wasn't me. So I would really only use it on shoots where I kind of wanted a certain image and I knew I could get it out of the Sony. Because again, Canon colors, Sony color science, it's very different. And I love my Canon colors, but I also love my Fujifilm. And that's where the XM5 comes in because currently my main run and gun is this, the Sigma FP. And this little rig obviously takes a lot of inspiration. If you haven't seen it already, I'll put links in the description. This takes inspiration from Caleb, the DSLR shooter, as well as another guy named Michael Bennett, I think. And together, that is what kind of inspired this rig. But if you notice, I did make some changes. I have the Excelsius cage, which I actually love this cage. I think this is the best cage for this camera. It's so portable. Watch this video here. It'll show you just in 60 seconds, not even. It'll show you the different stages, different phases that I put this camera in. Now this camera has a Samsung 2 terabyte SSD on the back, so I'm not worried about storage space. I've got my mic. For a monitor, you'll see, well, may as well throw it on. Now on the Sigma FP, we use the Atomos Shinobi 2, and I love it. I love it. I'm very happy with it, very pleased with it, very pleased with the performance, very pleased with everything about it. So there's no complaints there. This is an awesome run and gun. I currently have a TT Artisans 50mm f2 on here. So I can hug this thing up to my chest, manually focus, see everything that I need, move around, even get low shots hand carried with this tiny little top handle, and it quickly mounts to the tripod. I'll go over this rig in another video in more detail, but this thing is just freaking awesome. Love this thing. So I wanted to make kind of a modular sled that will be able to just very quickly take the Sigma FP off, put the Fujifilm XM5 on, have that as an option, and then I'm also thinking about picking up either the ZVE1 or the ZVE10. Haven't decided yet because I want to compare something with the Sigma FP being full frame and obviously the Fujifilm being APS-C. Actually, that's something I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. So leave your opinion in the comment section. Should I pick up the ZVE1 to compare closer to the Sigma FP, or should I pick up the ZVE10 to kind of act as an in-between and compare more to the XM5? I'm not really sure, but at this point, I just love playing with gear, building rigs, and doing what I do. I'm also a single father of 6, 5 under the age of 18. So friends, thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more. I hope you stick with us on this journey, and hopefully we can help you become a growing pro to the point where you're getting paid for your craft, because you deserve to. All right, catch you next video.